A game we've been waiting for since 2021 is finally coming to PC, and of course that means you should be able to play it on your Steam Deck. We'll talk about that, plus some emulation news related to the Yuzu lawsuit, more console exclusive nonsense, Microsoft's latest partner showcase, and rumors of a classic game getting a modern remake are resurfacing. Oh, and if you aren't paying close enough attention, all of your games can just disappear. They can vanish. It's happening this month. More on that later on in the video. I'm Bill, and welcome to the NerdNest. Back in September of 2021, NVIDIA had a massive leak, which almost all of which turned out to be true. Basically, somebody was messing around with the GeForce Now client, and they found a list of games that were on their way to PC. Then the confirmations started to pile up. It started with ActRaiser Renaissance, then there was Destroy All Humans 2, followed by Grand Theft Auto Trilogy and God of War coming to PC. All of these announcements were telegraphed by the aforementioned GeForce Now list. Well, hold on to your grandmas, as the latest confirmation was just announced, and that's Ghosts of Tsushima. We actually mentioned that this was going to be coming, get announced on the most recent episode of the NerdNest podcast. It's our weekly discussion of all things gaming, so subscribe for the next one. Oh, and about 50% of the people that watch my shows are still not subscribed, so if you've ever found my videos useful, entertaining, informative, or any of the above, please consider clicking on that button down below. It's free, and I would love to hit 100K this year. All right, back to Ghost of Tsushima. If you haven't played it, it's actually really cool. You play as a samurai in feudal Japan, and there's a particularly interesting piece of information on the official site. The PC version of Ghost is called the Director's Cut, and it includes the full game, the Iki Island expansion, and the cooperative online multiplayer Legends mode. For the past year, the team at Nixies has been working hard on the Sucker Punch in-house engine technology, bringing it to PC and implementing PC features such as unlocked frame rates, a variety of graphics settings and presets, and customizable mouse and keyboard controls, ultra-wide support, DLSS 3 and FSR 3, which means the game should run pretty well on the Steam Deck. It is a PS4 game after all, and FSR 3 support should look pretty nice. If you haven't played it, it is an absolutely beautiful open world game. I especially like the samurai filter, which allows you to play the game with like this black and white filter and audio processing. It kind of makes the game look like those old samurai movies. It'll support DualSense controllers, though frustratingly, Sony has yet to give us full driver support for those controllers. So if you want the full experience, you'll need to plug your DualSense into your PC via a cable. I just checked the official page, and it's not yet Steam Deck verified, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, especially since on the official site it says this: experience Ghosts of Tsushima Director's Cut with unlocked frame rates and a variety of graphics options tailored to a wide range of hardware, ranging from high-end PCs to portable PC gaming devices, and it has a little 1 after it. Further on down the page, that 1 says that it means compatible PC and display devices are required. Compatible could just mean that it has to be running Windows, but I don't see any reason that this game wouldn't run on the Steam Deck outside of anti-cheat issues. And even if it does run into some issues, I'll bet you Valve will do some kind of proton magic to make it work. The game isn't a competitive multiplayer game, or at least it wasn't when I played multiplayer with my son, and we were just playing a horde mode. So I'm willing to bet that this game, it's going to be on any and all of your favorite handhelds when it comes out in May. I'm wondering if we'll see an announcement for a sequel on PlayStation around the same time. It would follow Sony's recent MO of building hype for a sequel by porting their newest game in the series to PC. That being said, Sony has also stated that they have no plans for new games in any of their main series this year. Whether or not Ghosts qualifies as one of their main series or not, who knows? Moving on to EmuDeck. EmuDeck just had a new version drop, and of course, number one task was removing Yuzu and Citra. Just in case you've been living under a rock for the past week, Nintendo sued the pants off Yuzu, and Yuzu settled really quickly out of court for $2.4 million. They handed everything over to Nintendo, and since Citra was supported by Yuzu, that got shut down as well. EmuDeck isn't going to uninstall your Yuzu installation if you already have it though, but for obvious reasons, it can't be automatically installed by EmuDeck anymore. Since the lawsuit, there have been tons of forks of Yuzu that have popped up, including Nuzu and Suyu, and I'm sure that there are, by the way, Suyu, hilarious name. I'm sure that there are plenty more where that came from, but they won't have the experience of the people that were working on Yuzu, so we'll see how well that emulation goes. Anyway, Suyu has been selected by EmuDeck as the default installation for Switch emulation. They haven't yet picked a 3DS emulator, but I've heard decent things about Panda. I think that's what it was called. Anyway, on top of the new emulators, they're also going to be including a new front end called Pegasus. I'm all for more options, but for me, I've been using Emulation Station for years at this point, and I really have no desire to switch, but yay for options. It is worth pointing out that some people have run into issues with the newest update. They're running into issues with parsing and scraping since they've updated, and they've said that Steam ROM Manager appears to be completely broken. I'd highly recommend that you wait until we've got a fix running before you run EmuDeck, especially since the app will auto-update when you start it. The Washington Post just reported that Final Fantasy VII Trilogy, the entire trilogy, that's Remake, Rebirth, and whatever they call the third one, is going to remain a PlayStation console exclusive. Of course, it'll still come to PC at some point, thank goodness. I always hate it when a platform holder hands a big bag of money to a publisher in order to keep it from coming to other platforms. I totally understand why they do it, and it's not like everybody doesn't do it, but I prefer that everybody gets to play all of the games that they want to play, no matter what platform they're using. I put some more time into my review copy of the game, and I'm now 100% done with the first open world area, and I've moved on to chapter 3. Most of the time in games, I kind of get bored with side quests, and I end up going just for story, but after about 12 hours, I'm feeling like the pacing of the side quests is pretty good. That plus the fact that you can fast travel around the map means that you can get a quest done without too much distraction, which always happens to me, where I try to go to one location, and as I'm going there, I see a shiny thing over there and a shiny thing over there. I would have played more last night, but my son and I jumped back into Helldivers 2, and holy cannoli, that game is getting crazy. Devs recently made some balance patches, which is great. Break up the meta as best as you can, Arrowhead, but on top of that, they also confirmed that mechs are coming to the game, and they added volcanoes and meteor showers as you play. This game is just bonkers, and I love what they're doing over there. I think this is going to be my favorite multiplayer game this year. I just read a few minutes ago that they are actually locking the mechs behind players liberating a certain planet, which is a super cool way to do it. It very much reminds me of what World of Warcraft did back with their, I think it's the Encourage expansion, or DLC, I don't know what you want to call it, but basically the whole server had to do something together before we unlocked this new raid. Really cool stuff. The Xbox partner preview just finished. It was about 30 minutes, and they showed 14 games, most of which will be coming to both PC, meaning your Steam Deck as well, and Xbox. I'm not going to hit all of them, but I will say the games that stood out to me were Unknown 9 Awakening. This one, at first, I thought was an Assassin's Creed game, but then the protagonist started using magic and possessing people and controlling their actions, and then doing it to multiple people at once, kind of chaining moves together to get some pretty cool results. It's coming from Bandai Namco, and the publisher is developed as the publisher, and it is developed by Reflector Entertainment. What's especially interesting about this particular game is it's part of a shared universe that spans obviously the game, but also a comic book series, a trilogy of books, a scripted podcast. I've not checked out any of that stuff that, in the shared universe, but I love the idea that they're building a deep lore for this game and that they're building this narrative with multiple mediums in mind from the start. This comes out to summer on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Next up is First Berserker Kazan. It's a Souls-like game set in the Dungeon Fighter universe, and I absolutely love the art style. But since it's a Souls-like, I'll probably end up passing on it. Nonetheless, if you're somebody looking for hours of frustration as you lose to a boss over and over and over, and you want to pair that with a unique art style in that genre, then I think this could be for you. The game is from Nexon, and it's coming to Steam, PS5, and Xbox. Other than that, nothing in the showcase really appealed to me, but I feel like there was something there for everyone. Moving on to rumors, it looks like there are rumors swirling around about a revival of a classic SEGA franchise. And no, it isn't one of the 5 that were announced at the Game Awards, or maybe it was Summer Games Fest. Either way, leave a comment down below of your favorite SEGA arcade games that ended up on the SEGA Saturn, because that's what this did. I remember dumping mountains of quarters into this game in the arcade, and then when I got it on the SEGA Saturn, I played it for hours and hours and hours. Have you guessed what it is yet? It's Virtua Fighter. I guess that I missed when this game was leaked about a month ago, but it's back in the news because supposedly it's confirmed. Well, I don't want to say confirmed. The leakers are saying that it has rollback netcode, full cross-platform, and it's going to be focused on online and esports. It's a fighting game. It better have rollback netcode. It's a fighting game. It lives or dies by the community, so it better be cross-platform. And it's a fighting game. Of course, it's going to be focused on esports, though Nintendo kind of disagrees there. I, for one, am hyped. Street Fighter 6 was fantastic last year. Tekken 8 is fun as hell. And Virtua Fighter? Hell yes. Speaking of SEGA, I just want to reiterate my excitement for the 5 games that were announced officially, mostly Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi. In fact, if I had to rank them, I think it would be Crazy Taxi at number 1, Golden Axe at number 2, and then Streets of Rage at number 3. Which order would you put them in? For me, I feel like Streets of Rage, like they had, like, if I'm remembering correctly, they had like a three-dimensional aspect to what we saw at the Game Awards, and I really liked what we saw with Streets of Rage 4, so I don't know how I feel about that one, but I'm still excited about it either way. Meta, which was previously Facebook, bought MetaQuest, which was originally Oculus, and then they decided to end support for Oculus accounts, forcing everybody to switch over to Facebook accounts. This went over about as well as you can expect, and after, I think, a year, Facebook backpedaled and said, oh, no, we'll have you make Meta accounts instead, as if that was a big difference from Facebook accounts. So now your Oculus accounts are your Facebook accounts, and they're your Meta accounts. Is this confusing enough? Well, layer after layer of logins and accounts and emails later, your Oculus accounts, and with it, everything that you've purchased are all going to be deleted. So if when Facebook bought Oculus, you didn't switch your account over, and then when they switched from Facebook to Meta, you didn't switch your account over, and you haven't been paying attention to email because, let's be honest, who can deal with all of the email we get? Your games, your DLC, and anything else linked to your Oculus account is about to get deleted on March 29th. This includes your achievements, your store credit, everything. If you want to keep all your stuff, you can migrate from your old Oculus account to your Meta account, but you do still have to have the same email you had when you made your Oculus account. What's even worse is some people that have received emails telling them to migrate when they've already migrated. I can already see the future. Someone that did migrate is going to get their stuff deleted because this is just way too convoluted. Apple and Epic are still fighting each other after Apple kicked Epic Games off the App Store entirely now. I have to say, it feels like you're watching your two drunk uncles arguing over which Smurf was cooler at Thanksgiving. Somehow it ends up turning into a big fist fight in the front yard where one of them is screaming hefty and the other one's screaming jokey. It's mildly entertaining, but at the same time, it's kind of pathetic that we have these $2 billion companies constantly squabbling over billions of dollars that they make. I'm not here to take a side in the Apple versus Epic fight. I think they're both dinks at this point, but which Smurf is the best? Leave a comment down below with your favorite Smurf, and then watch this video right here. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Stay rad, everybody.